Hi everybody, my name is Angelica from the Math Magician Bookkeeping. I'm one of the students in Brass's coaching program, and today I wanted to talk with you guys about how to stay focused even whenever you have a lot of distractions around you. So I wanted to preface this video by letting you guys know that I have not been to a doctor, I have not been diagnosed with anything, but there are a lot of times that I wonder if I actually have ADHD or ADD. I don't know if it's my environment or actually like something going on neurologically with me, but there are times that I just feel like I cannot focus, and it is so hard to get through and stay focused on exactly what I need to get done. I get distracted so easily, and like I said, I don't know if it's my environment or what, but I figured I would share some of the things that have helped me because you may feel the same way. And when I'm having those really bad brain days, these are things that I kind of do to pretty much help me stay back on track. So just starting off, I live in a tiny home school bus. I have an older cat who's very needy, and she's actually laying on me right now. I have an 8-month-old kitten, and he's a little psycho. And then I have a 3-year-old blue heeler dog, and he is very sweet, but he's very full of energy, and they can all be very distracting. Sometimes the kitten will torment the dog, and then the dog gets all jumpy and it's like chaos, or the kitten will be running up and down the bus. Sometimes the dog will want to go out and play. It's like just constant distractions with my animals, and I love them so much. And I know some of you at home are probably like, that's nothing, I got children that I have to take care of, and you know, this and that. And so I understand that it can just be difficult, especially when you work from home. There can just be a lot of distractions around you, and that's why I said I don't know sometimes if it's my environment or whatnot, but those are just some of the struggles that I deal with. Not to mention that it's just sometimes hard for me to stay focused. Just my brain, I sometimes feels overwhelmed and it doesn't even know where to begin. So things that have helped me, and this is kind of a no-brainer, but I'm going to say it anyway, but is making sure you don't have distractions on around you. Sometimes working from home, I feel like, oh, I can have the TV on or music on or a podcast, something going on in the background, especially whenever I'm doing like a monotonous, repetitive thing. Bookkeeping can be kind of monotonous, let's face it. Sometimes when I'm doing that, I feel like, oh, I could have the TV on in the background or something like that. But there's times that I've noticed that I will just get so distracted. And it's not even like, oh, I'm so into this show, because it could be a show that I've seen 1,000 times, like The Office or whatever, but I will just get into this space, and I don't know if this happens for other people, but if someone's talking and someone else starts talking over them, or the TV is on in the background, or music is on and it's loud, I cannot hear either one of those things happening. They just intertwine, and it stresses me out. It makes me almost go into a panic mode, and I feel like I need to run. And like I said, I don't know if that's something I need to be diagnosed for. Leave something in the comments if I need to go see a doctor. But basically, I just tend to get very sidetracked, and it's hard for me to like focus on something whenever I'm hearing something else happening. I guess maybe because the little voice in my head is trying to tell me what needs to happen, and then there's these other voices that are happening that I can't focus. So anyways, it's just kind of a no-brainer to kind of stay away from some of those distractions. There's a reason when you're at like a regular desk job or something, they don't have the TV on in the background for you to be watching. But I know sometimes I will still try, just like I said, whenever there's monotonous things going on. But when I'm having those bad brain days, I literally cannot have anything on around me. There can be no noise. It has to be complete silence for me. So something else that really helps is just staying organized. So this comes from, just everything. So like for me, something that really helps is organizing my emails. So 90% of the time, whenever I'm going to get distracted, it's going to be looking at my emails and trying to figure out what to do next. So one thing that really helps, and this is pretty generic, you probably already do this, but making folders in your email section for your specific clients or for specific companies, even like bills that you get, But like for myself, whenever I get an email from a client, I will have a folder with the client's name on it. And then I'll have even subcategories. Like I have a client that I do a lot of invoices for, or like I enter a lot of bills in for, and she'll actually send me those bills, and I will put those bills in a different category. And so basically just trying to keep that organized. That way at any point in time, I can go back into that category and see it. And like I was saying with the bills, whenever I'm done entering in those bills, I have another category called finished bills, and it's specific to that client, and I will move it over into that folder. That way there is no deciding, oh gosh, which bills do I need to do, because it's something that I've already kind of figured out and moved out of that file. Now I can focus on what actually needs to be done. And then also just marking certain emails with importance. So for me, I use Gmail. You may use Outlook or some other means for email. But what I like to do is put a little star next to certain emails that I need to respond back to, or a certain task that needs to be done within that email, so on and so forth. And then I can create a task out of that and actually focus on those specific emails instead of like all this other garbage. Plus, I cannot have a cluttered email or notifications, text, anything. I'm not the kind of person that I just leave stuff hanging out there. Everything's got to be put in its place. So like every single day I'm deleting out emails that are useless. Every single day I'm moving those emails that I do find useful into their specific folders once I've, completed the task. So that's just something that really helps me. Also, bookmarking important websites, having those up in a tab folder where you can easily access those. That way you don't get distracted, because if I'm going to go search for a website, there's a good chance that I'm going to go into the search bar and not even know what I'm doing. It's just like every time I walk into the store, I've already forgotten the list or why I'm even there. It's like when you walk into the kitchen, you forget, what am I in here for, So that's what happens to me when I'm on the computer. I tend to get lost in like, what am I even looking for? And so having your main websites that you really use often up in like a little bookmark tab is super helpful. So I have QuickBooks, I have LinkedIn, I have Alignable, I have YouTube for my videos, I have Keeper, which is my bookkeeping tasks, I have all these other things bookmarked. That way I can easily access them. Speaking of that, websites that I use to kind of help me stay on track and to get me focused, my main one is called Keeper. And I've talked about this in another video, and I plan on doing a video specifically on this because I do think it's super helpful for bookkeepers. I had tried other things like Asana. There's like some other like task management apps, but I wanted something more specific to bookkeeping and being able to actually ask my clients about some of their transactions and being able to collaborate with my clients as opposed to being able to collaborate with like employees in a team. But this Keeper really helps me stay on track. It kind of notifies me what tasks need to be done that specific day, so on and so forth. I also use Calendly because this kind of is somewhat automated on its own, but I have the link set up for anybody to make an appointment with me on my LinkedIn page, my Facebook page, my Alignable page, my website, so that anybody can just get on there and make an appointment, basically, and I don't have to go back and forth and kind of figure out, okay, what day works for you, what time works for you. No, I'm leaving it up to them. And I have, those specific days and times that I can do it, and then they can choose from there, and I'll work around that. So that's super helpful that I don't have to go back and forth and deal with that correspondence. Another thing that's really nice about Calendly is like I use Google Calendar a lot, and it'll sync up with my Google Calendar, which syncs up with my smartwatch. And then whenever I'm going around, I can actually go, oh, okay, I have a meeting tomorrow at 10 o'clock. So I know I need to prepare for that. And because I need to mentally prepare for any meeting that I have. It's just one of those things I really need to mentally prepare. But it really helps to be able to do that. Something that Bryce has in the coaching program is it's called a Core 4 tracking sheet. It is a wonderful resource. I admit that I don't use it as much as I should, but this does help you stay on track with your connections. So what it really does is, like, whenever you've sent out certain messages to people or connections, you can put, okay, this is the amount of connections I've sent out. These are the amount of people that have actually responded back to me in some kind of message. These are the people that have actually agreed to have a meeting with me. After I had the meeting with them, these are the people that said yes to wanting to work with me. These are the people that said no to wanting to work with me. You can even put like what their reasons were. But for the people that haven't responded to you, or maybe they messaged you and then never wanted to set up a meeting, you can kind of look back on that as a reference point and be able to decide from there, like, okay, well, maybe I need to circle back around to that person and reach back out to them and just remind them that I'm here. So it's very good to stay organized with that tracking sheet, and like I said, use it as a reference point to realize where you are with your leads and with your connections. Something that I use is for password management is called LastPass, and it's basically a vault where you can store all your passwords. And I don't typically use this for my stuff. I use it more for my clients because it's nice and secure. And basically there's an HVAC company that I work with, the one I was talking about earlier, and they send like a bunch of bills, and they work with train equipment, train part supply, wind supply, carrier, so on and so forth. And so there's a lot of websites with a lot of different usernames and passwords. So I'm actually able to create a little tab for that specific company with all of those links and passwords and stuff. I'm able to just launch the website and it will autofill their username and password, which is super helpful. And if I'm ever needing to know what it is actually manually, I can click on it and see what the stuff is, the username and password. So that way it's just nice and organized and I don't have to deal with it. I don't have to worry about looking back at an email and then seeing a new email pop up and then getting distracted with that. So it is super helpful to have that. I also have an extension that Bryce recommended to me because I'm one of those people that if you jump on Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, and you see everybody's news feed and you see all these videos, photos, statuses, you kind of just want to keep scrolling. And that's a huge distraction. And Bryce actually recommended this to me. And if you get nothing from this video, try this extension if you have a hard time focusing whenever you get on those sites, because it has been wonderful. I don't know if they have it on any other browsers, but for Chrome, it's called Newsfeed Eradicator. And what it does is it literally gets rid of the newsfeed. You can turn the extension off if you ever want to see the newsfeed, but it will turn off the newsfeed for that specific site. It'll just pop up like a nice little quote of the day, like an inspiring quote. And then that way you can actually focus on what you need to do, which is sending out more connections or responding to messages, instead of getting lost in the shuffle and all the things that are right there in your face, like a billboard, like a flashing billboard at you. So it's super helpful to have that. So something that is pretty much a no-brainer, as well as just trying to schedule your day. And maybe this should have been the first thing I start off with, but I am not the best at scheduling. Like, I have like a specific way that I have things, but I have kind of a rough schedule. I like to stay up late. I'm kind of a night owl, and sometimes I'll sleep in. It's one of the perks of being able to work from home. If I don't have a meeting at 9, then I may be inclined to sleep till 10 o'clock or something. But just having that freedom to do that sometimes leads to bad habits. But just trying to have somewhat of a schedule for your day. So I know at least whenever I get up, one of the things that I want to do and that Bryce has recommended is whenever you first start your work day, start it off by making connections, responding to connections, whatever. Try to spend at least 30 minutes to an hour making connections or responding to connections, so on and so forth. So I know that's usually the first thing I need to do. The second is getting on my email and responding back to anybody who's emailed me, emailing any of my clients, any questions I have, looking at the emails and realizing if there's any tasks that need to be taken care of, so on and so forth. And so that's my second thing that I do for the day as far as work goes. And then third is just prioritizing my clients' needs. I actually have a little whiteboard magnet that's on my fridge, and I'll write down each of my clients what needs to be done for their stuff with like a little box next to it. Like it could be categorize, it could be reconcile, it could be this and that. And like that Keeper app that I'm talking about, that software, it does that too. But being able to actually see it when I'm not at the computer kind of gives me an idea of how I need to spend my day. If I need to focus a lot on that one specific client, then that is something I will do. If I need to schedule a meeting with someone or call someone, then that's something I'll do. So just being able to have that written out where it's visual and I can see it away from my computer helps a ton. So the last thing that I want to mention is kind of a silly one, but it is important. And I'm not just saying this for you guys, but it's a reminder for me as well. But take your vitamins, work out, drink water, eat healthy, take care of your body. So like I will take vitamins like a multivitamin. I actually have a vitamin called True Focus that's actually supposed to help me stay focused mentally. I take 5-HTP to just help with my overall mood and, stay more positive about things. I try to work out at least 3 days a week, if not more. I have been trying to eat healthier. I try to stay up on my water, but just basically taking care of yourself, getting on better sleeping habits, and your focus will kind of be better whenever you're taking care of yourself, because physically is going to kind of match how you are doing mentally. So that's just my last thing that I'd suggest. But anyways, I hope that y'all enjoyed this video. Please let me know if you'd like to see something else like this. If you would like to learn more about how Bryce can help you in your bookkeeping company, please click the link in the description or in the comment section below for a free 15-minute phone call with him to see how he could help you in your business. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video.